where my wife comes into play. My wife is pregnant. And to say pregnant, you do that, but you keep your hands together. Right? So if you go to my wife and you ask her, hey, and you look at her and you point and say you, and you're thinking, you're asking, are you pregnant? But you point at her and then go like that, you just called her fat. But if you keep your hands together and say you like that, you're asking, hey, are you pregnant? She'd say yes.
Are you sure? Because this camera's not working. So that one's looking at you.
Oh.
So if the sign for the camera.
My wife pregnant. So that's thin. It's like this. Your pinkies, and you go like that. You just stretch it out. So that's fat, thin, then tall. You go like that. And to say short, you look down. But actually follow. Look at it, right? Because where your eyes go is a signifier of the context of the conversation. So tall is up, short is down. Now on page 27, we see large. David, please stop doing that. The camera's right behind you, and just please stop. To say large, you could say like this, it was big, and you're signifying something was big. Now on your book there, you see, again with the signifiers, you can do like the plates and stuff, and that's big. You can go like that. It just depends on what you're describing. You can just like show the picture like that. But I usually say it was big, and you open your hands up. And that's large, that's big. And then something that's small, you shrink your fingers down. So little. So that's small, that's little. And then far is you're going to start with your hand, your thumbs up. And what you're going to do is you're going to go like that. And what you're doing is you're signifying, you're showing perspective-wise, if this is one person here and your thumb's another person and they're far away, right? And so that's far. And so if you're talking about traveling as well, like man, the Holguins, they drove from here and they're driving all the way to Kentucky. And so they're driving a far distance, right? Now to say near is you're going to do the opposite, but usually with far you keep your hand in a fist, but with near it's more you can curl, or you do curl your fingers, but most of the time I don't always curl my fingers, but you're signifying the opposite. Something is near you. Now if you go like this and go on the side, you're saying, hey, we walked side by side. You're signifying the position. So something is close by, something is far, or something is next to you. You know, well, they live next to me over that way, but they live right next to me, or he was walking next to me, right? And so that's next. It just depends on positionally where you are. And then page 28, airplane, basically make the I love you sign, and you're going to go like this. That's air, because when you're talking about the object, I had a little bubble in my throat, you do a little bounce back and forth. Now to talk about flying, because that's the verb, you go like that. You fly. And so in 2 weeks, myself and 2 of my kids are flying to the east. I think that's east coast. I don't know. That's beach. I don't know. We're flying to the east coast. Next one is bicycle. You're just pedaling a bike. That's bicycle. Now here, car. So this one is unique. That's a car. You're talking about car. That's also driving, but some people, and if you make 2 C's and go on top of each other like that, and you say car. If you make T's, you could say truck. And if you do with the B's, that's bus. And so those are some newer signs that maybe not everybody will use, but those were, I was taught to use bus, truck, and car. But also we're using sign language when it's a picture language. It's not a linguistic like English or Spanish with words. And so a lot of times when deaf people are talking, they'll go like this, and this is dry. They're showing a car driving, and so if they go like this, they parked. You know, go. You know, if somebody comes in and says, "Hey, where's your husband?" Oh, he's parking the car, and they don't have to say all. They just show a car being parked, and they're like, "Oh, he's parking the car." You don't have to say park the car or whatever. It's just he's driving parked. Now, also to a crash, like a car crash, is this. So two cars running into each other. That's crash. And so you can't say that's driving. You could say my car, or you could say I was driving home. So it depends on what you use with your lips, what you say, and the context. And so, yeah.
Using 3 fingers or
Yeah.
2?
No, that you got it right there.
The
So,
middle, the pointer, and
yep. And so you could say somebody was driving really slow. Or you could say that somebody was like reckless driving, you know, or they're swerving in and out of traffic. You go like this, and they're swerving in and out of traffic. So depending what picture you show, it can all mean can express what you're trying to say. And so, but just in general vocabulary, that could be car, or the C's can be car. But that's that. Next one is motorcycle. See, these ones are easy. Just it's just you rev the motorcycle. This is a cool one. Ship. You're gonna take your hands and you're gonna go like this because ships rock on the waves, right? Now, here's a cool fact. This is an N, right? And so if you like I said, I don't always bend my fingers, but if you go like this with with an N finger on both hands, that's the sign name for Noah in the Bible. And so when you're interpreting, preaching or something, that's Noah, but really the whole hand, that's ship. But if you do with the ends for the Paul, that's Noah. Yep. And then train, you take, it's similar to name, but flatten it out and go like this, because you're making train tracks, and then something sliding across the train tracks. So that's train. We had a lady here last week, brother. She said, I train my husband. I said, no. That's train. That's different. That's like a train car, but what she was meaning was train. That's practice and a train, right? So, fun little sign. Same word, but again, just like in English, different meaning, so there's a different sign. And bus here, you could spell bus out. A lot of people will spell bus out, B-U-S, just really quick. And you could do that as well, but that's just there. Taxi, we don't have taxis around here. We're not in New York, but is it like that? See, I was thinking it was just straight back. Yeah, because the taxi, you're calling a taxi. But on a taxi, they have on the top of the cars, they have the little triangle thing that says taxi on it, right? And so, taxi. Yeah, I was just going to go like that, but it may be, I think, flashing the... But we don't have taxis around here. You just spell Uber out around here. In our neck of the woods, you just spell Uber.
How did you do bus again?
Bus, you could do 2 B's like that and just right on top of each other. That's bus. Or you could just spell it out. Yeah, some people just do that. All right, and then so page 30. Some of this is review. So we'll just quickly go through it. Spider, lock your fingers in and wiggly fingers moving forward like a spider. Donkey also means stubborn, right, with the full hand. Dog is you're going to tap and then snap. And then horse, just the 2 fingers with the ears, because their ears always perk up. Snake is, in our book here, it says set your finger first. I think that's what it's showing. But no, snake, you just go like this, because you're signifying the fangs. And then they S through the sand. Chicken, that's bird, chicken. Cat, you're going to do the whisker. You just pull the whisker with your feeler finger. So bird, chicken, that's all the same thing. Fish, you're going to fish to swim through the water. Remember pig. So because if you wiggle your fingers, that's dirty. But then pigs is like that. cow, I don't know if we went over this one. Cow is like you make a Y and you go,
Like the horns?
yep, you go up. So, but yeah, like that. That's cow. So you can say cowboy, cowgirl. Yes, David. What is what? FedEx. What is FedEx? FedEx is a delivery company. That? I don't know. You would just spell FedEx. I don't know. I was trying to thinking how you go from cow to FedEx. So page 33 through 34 or 35 is colors. Let's go to page 35. The last one there is flag on the bottom of page 35, and so you would go like this, and because the flag is waving. So what for me, like, this is tree because the branches are all waving in the wind, but then if your hands are together sideways, the flag is waving. So page 36, we're moving quite along. We're going to get into some things that we haven't gotten to. The word thing is you take your hand like this and you just thing. So a lot of times you'll see people say something. So some is you're splitting your hand, right? Because to have some of something, you're parting it, one way or the other. So a lot of people say something and they'll do it in one quick motion. They'll just come down and say something. And so that's a very common sign, the word thing. And I'm not sure why, but I use it a lot, but I can't think of an example right now. But that's thing. You're just kind of presenting. And so picture something like on a table before you, and you're showing somebody that. You're like, hey, what is this? Like this thing right here. That's the idea behind that thing. Chair, you bounce again. If you just do it one time, that's the verb, because you're telling somebody to sit down. You shouldn't have to tell them more than once. Amen. Now, do I have to tell them more than once? Yes. All right. Key, you're just going to make a fist and then raise your index knuckle. And then you're going to make a wall, and you twist. That's the key. So that could be like the keys to the house, the key to the car. You just say, hey, where are the keys? And that's key. That's another household item. Money, now this is everybody's favorite. Money. I mean, what people do, that's real. That's money. Now, it's not right here, but if going like this, that means dollars. So you could say $20, you could say $50 is explaining how much something costs maybe. Yeah, or $100. But just saying money in general is money. Now, it's in the next page or so, but we'll just go over it now real quick. But if you're rich, because if this is money, if you're rich, you signify the money, and it's piled up. And that's rich. You have a little bit of money, or you have a lot of money. That's rich. And just because it's poor, I don't know. You just
When you're there's something like stingy, being stingy too is something
Well,
I thought was your...
I'm not sure. Like Charity just said, what helps her remember is homeless, poor. They have holes in their shirts and holes in their knees.
I thought someone showed me something with like being stingy, and it's something with your elbow.
So this is a country, and most countries of the world are third world countries that are poor. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it just makes me wonder. And you steal. I don't know, because maybe the third world countries are poor because I don't know. They don't get involved with that. Page 37, pencil is you're gonna in the old what do we do when a pen doesn't work? What do you do? No, when you go to use a pen and it doesn't work, what's the first thing people do?
You try to draw circles.
Right.
Draw circles to get it.
Have you ever licked it?
No.
What?
You guys are weird.
Am I the only one?
I draw circles and I draw lines to force the ink out of it.
I've never been taught that, but I do it all the time. Like, if it doesn't work, lick it. I don't know. That's some.
I don't have time for
Have you ever seen somebody lick a pen?
No, I draw circles. But
No offense, Jimmy.
Okay, well,
You're aged.
well. Anyway, so pencil is you're gonna form a like almost like holding a pencil. You're gonna just touch your lip real quick, and then you're gonna write on your hand. That's pencil. I don't know, lead. Maybe because this is lead or metal. I don't know, lead. I don't know. Now y'all got me thinking. I'm thinking pen. But anyways, you just touch your lip and you write. That's pencil. Book. We've gone over this one. You just open your hands. That's book. Now Bible is Jesus' book. I like it. Paper is you put your non-dominant hand out, and you're going to go like this, because when a printer prints out paper, it just shoots it out. That's paper. And then right here, just because, rock, paper, scissors. Rock, we went over last week, I think, and it's a solid boom, right?
Paper.
Yeah, and then scissors, yeah. Rock, then paper, and scissors. Now we did, Brother Whitfield, this is rock because it's a sturdy foundation, rock, right? And then mountain is rock hills, because that's what mountains are made out of. But this is something cool just for Christians. The older days, people will correct, it depends on where you're at. Some will say this is the sign for Paul, but I learned it as, with the P, that I learned it as the sign for Peter, because this is rock. So Peter means Petros, pebble or rock, and so that's Peter's sign name. Paul's is like this, because that to do like a snake, but almost, but without curling your finger so much. That's travel, because you're going down the winding trail. So Paul's sign name is with the P, traveling, because of all his missionary journeys. This is Peter, but it's also pretty cool. This is church, because the church is built on the foundation. And now another cool thing is to go like this is chocolate, because chocolate is a serious foundation of all of life. Amen. Anyways, we're getting off rock, paper, scissors. Page 38, plant. You're going to have a plant holder, a pot in your hand, and you're going to go like this, and as you come up, you're going to open your hand, because you're signifying a plant that grows and opening its leaves. So that's plant. Present or gift. And this is another directional one. You're going to make a fist, but you're going to have your index finger just out a little bit. And it's almost like the G hand, but just curled a little bit. And if I'm going to give you a present, I'm going to give you a gift. Now, if somebody gives me something, then, like if Marty got me something, I'd say, Marty, and then signified like that she gave me something. And if I'm telling one of my kids, hey, you need to give, right? I can signify, Edwin, give that back to Marty, right? So it's directional, but it's just it's like a G hand, but directional. Give, giving or present. So that's pretty cool. I like that one. Clothes. This you go down like what you're wearing, like you're displaying what you're wearing. So remember, going up is youth and young. What happens? Young people care more about their clothes than anybody else, right? And I say that. So that's clothes, because you're just showing what you're wearing. Television, you just say TV. There's a joke behind that, but I forgot. I think I had a friend that was like, that's television for people who watch it, but there's a lot of people who want to preach against television, and I think he did something like he threw it in the trash or something like that. So anyways, television is TV. Page 39, to read. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a book in your hand, and with just your index and middle finger, you're going to go like this, because what do? You start at the top of the page, and you read down, and some might go sideways and zigzag it a little. I just go like that, but you're going down from the top to the bottom.
It should be like this. You should read it like that.
Yeah, that's why some, I think,
You don't
zigzag
say
back and
like this.
some people go like that, but I just go like that. Now to study, it's not in your book right here, but to study is you're going to go like this, because you're giving all your thoughts and minds to it, and you're just trying to figure it out. So that's study. To read, to study. To draw is just put your pinky out and you're going to go like this. And the pinky is the pencil. You're drawing on a piece of paper. To write is similar to, again, the pencil. Pencil, you touch your lip and then write. But to write a letter, you're just going to just do the writing. And then to spell, we've already, you're asking somebody, hey, what's the word? What's the sign for? And then you spell it out and they'll tell you. So that's just spelling it. Page 40. I want to try to get to page 50. Page 40. To sing, you're going to go like this. You're singing. And if you do that with the C, talking about the choir. But that's to sing. There's a song that I signed, and the words are when the sing. It's like swing the. Yeah, sing and song are like two words apart from each other, and so it looks like you're just doing the same thing, but it all matters what you say for it. But in one of my dictionaries, that's like 30 years old, to sing. Well, one point was that you would just grab a microphone and go like this and signify that you were singing. But I've never seen that one used, but it is in the dictionary. So some people it might be an older sign, but to go like this is to sing. And so that's that. To speak, you can go like this with just your four fingers up, and you're speaking. So if somebody's talking back and forth, like if I had a conversation with Brother Paul, and I said, we were talking all night, we just kept talking and talking and talking. And so it went back and forth, because it's many words, many sentences going out. And so to say something is just one finger. I said, go clean your room. But to have a conversation, to speak is like this, and then to have a conversation is like this. Sometimes you might see I don't know. Yeah, I won't say that because I'm not sure. But that's to speak. To shout is like this. You're going like this. Because when you're raising your voice and you're just letting it out. So I almost lost my voice this morning yelling at my kids. Truth. I'm not lying. That's a true story. That's why there's Ricola on my desk. But that's the shout. And so, I don't know. You just spell it. I don't know if there's a throat medicine. To converse, yeah, there it is. To converse is back and forth. It is there. Converse. And then also on give. So now on page 41, to give, it's showing not just this like a gift, but they're giving you something. And so that's like a gift, a present, to give something. But to give, you can also just to give something, maybe not a gift. You can signify you're handing something to them. And so you're giving this to you. There's a song that I signed a couple weeks ago. It's in our hymn book. I forget which one it is, but I think it's like I surrender all. And it's to just surrender up. But I think to give all and then surrender up. So that's there too. To receive is you're going to take it and you're going to bring it to yourself, because you're receiving it to yourself. So that's receive. You're grabbing it and bringing it in. To look for something, to search. A lot of times I'll put my hand up, but that's not necessary. But what you're doing is you're picturing a magnifying glass. What do you do with the magnifying glass? So going like this, you're searching, because you're looking through the magnifying glass, and let's see, and so you're searching like this. So to say I'm searching, you're looking through, and you're trying to find it. So that's to look for something, and then when you actually find it, you just pick it up with your here it shows your index finger. I always use my feeling finger, but you found it. So now that one is interesting. Like I've heard there was a story, somebody, or an example in one of my sign language books. It talks about context being very key, because deaf people think literally. And so, if you talk about you found, like if you're looking for somebody at the market and you found my friend, they're going to say, what, your friend was lost? What happened? And they're going to question you. So It just depends on where their understanding of English, versus sign languages. But that's defined. Like I found my keys. I was searching for my keys, and my daughter found my keys. So that's fine. No, that's just an example. I lose my keys all the time. Page 42, to go is you're just going to point like, hey, you need to go, go over there, or hey, you need to come here, and to come to you, you're going to signify come. To embrace or to hug, right? You hug somebody, that's hug. You probably don't have to sway like that, but get into it, right? Amen. To kiss, I shouldn't teach this. I got more kids in this class. My kids kissing bad. To kiss, but you make not an O, but but straighten it out. And what you're gonna do is you're signifying, you're touching your lip, and then you're coming together. Because what you're doing is when you point to your lip, you're signifying, like that's what you're expressing what the subject is. My lips, kissing. So to kiss is like that. So like kiss a baby. That's good. And then on page 43, we have I, me. We have you, point to somebody. We, remember, we're encircling everybody. We, us, or they, them. You're pointing at in a circular motion. My, mine. Possessive is open hand. You, yours, open hand. And now we've gone over this one. Good is with the palm up. Bad is like you're spanking. Hand down. That's bad. My kids are angels. What are you talking about? Angel. That's not in here, but angel is you're doing the wings. So, page 45. Strong. So this one, I watched a video of a little girl. She was singing. Sometimes what people sign in song is not exactly the same picture in conversation. So this girl was singing something about the Lord gives me strength or something, and it said I'm strong, and she went wow, like that, and got really into it, and it was really cool. And you could watch that, not know sign language, and know she was signing the word for strong because of the way she did it. But there's a few different ways to do it. In the book here, it's you're strong, and what you're doing is you're flexing when you do it. So strong, like my kids are not strong. I'm just kidding. I'm picking on them. They're in here. They're stronger than me, so I don't have to worry about it. But that strength as you're flexing your arms out. Weak is you're going to go like this, and it's just you let your fingers loose really, and just weak. Because you can't. You're not able to stand with the weight. With a burden. Your legs, when you're weak, your legs give out, right? And that's what oftentimes my legs are weak, and so that's weak. Poor is you're grabbing, you got nothing on your soul, you got nothing. So I guess if this is money raising up, poor is, but and then rich, we went over that. You're just money piled up. Page 46. I have to ask my wife. There's a word for cheap, but I forget that one.
That's what I was telling you. I thought there's something about being stingy or something with.
Yeah. Well, this is rich. I forget something's expensive and cheap. I can't think of them right now, but that's in the same context of money. I'll get back to you on that one. So expensive. All right, page 46. We're moving quite along. Hard. Again, you're going to have your two fingers curled in, and something's hard. You're going to hit the rock, right? But it's hard. So problem is like this. You're having a problem. So hard problem. So it's all because problems are hard. That's why they're problems. If they were easy, they wouldn't be a problem. So hard is just like that. Soft, what you're gonna do is you're gonna open with your hands and you just come down like that. It's just soft. Yeah, it's soft. You can catch it, right? It's soft. Old, again, go like that. New, something is new. So the old is not. That's not just for age. Well, I mean it is, because when you're talking about something that's old, it's not talking about age of a person. It's just age in general, right? So that's old. Like that's an old chair. I'm warning you. That's an old chair. You might or you might not want to sit in that chair, right? But new is put your hand out and you're just gonna scoop up. Now why that's new, I don't know, but new. Maybe you're scooping up a newborn baby. I don't know what would help you remember that, but just new. And then old, again, there it is again. Young, we went over that. The reason being is because young people have a lot of energy. So they're full of life. Youth, young. Friend, now this is a fun one. When you're tight with a friend, that's friendship. And you just take your 2 index fingers like that. Now, if you're really like your best friend, you can go like that, and then you lock it in place, and you really signify like that's friend. Like, I have, many friends, but I have one specific friend, and you really tighten it in and show that emphasis that you can't pull us apart. That's a best friend. Who said liar when I said I had a lot of friends? Come on.
It must be the only ones you pursue.
So truth is with an H-N like this, truth. And something, if somebody says that's true, not truth with the TH, but just true, is straight down. Because what it is you're speaking, it's right down the line. So if you say something and a friend says, oh yeah, that's true, they're saying, yeah, that's straight down the line, that's true. Lie is you're speaking sideways, right? And so lying is, no, that's a lie. Because what you're saying isn't coming out straight. You're speaking out of the side of your mouth. You're speaking crooked right there. So to lie is you just go like that. So, anyways, true, lie. It's not in the book, but it was there. 2 more pages. School. So remember, this was paper, right? So school is just basically class, because that's where you go through a lot of paper, is at school. Teacher is like this, and then the right? So this is to teach, and then we add the signifier of er, the teacher. So the next one there is to teach, you go like that. To learn, you go like this, you grab from the book. I wish it was this easy. You just grab from the book and you put it in your head. To learn. Now, student is learner. So, if I was going to Highlands University, or what grade are you in, Daniela? 6th grade? All right, so Daniela is a student at whatever school, and she's in the 6th, so actually grade I think would be like that. My wife's not here, but anyways, learn and then student, because you're a learner. Page 49, hospital. You're going to take your H hand and you're going to form a cross, because the red cross, that's the hospital. They're helping you. Just form a cross over your chest. Yep, not over the whole thing, just like in the little pocket, just hospital. So you're in the hospital. I go sideways and then down. Yeah, your arm. Nurse is like this with the in hand. And what do the nurses do? The first thing they do is they take your pulse. And so that's nurse. Now, if they do it with a D, that's doctor. Yeah, or if you do it next to your tooth, that's dentist. But that's nurse, doctor, all right there. And now medicine, take your feeling finger and you're gonna rub it in the middle of your palm. Medicine. Yeah. So you got the little medicine. They give it to you right there in the hand. But so nurse, doctor, and then medicine is right in the middle of your hand. And then page 50, sick, is you're going to take your 2 feeling fingers, and you're going to touch your forehead and touch your stomach. That's sick, right? Because what happens when you're sick, you usually have a headache and you have an upset stomach. So if you're sick, like say, I'm sick, I need nurse, or I need medicine. So sick is like that. Fever, to say you're having a fever, you're running a fever. You're sick, you want to. So remember when we talk, and this is clarify, the word month is down. That's 1 month. Now to say every month, you're gonna rotate, because you have monthly bills that just come every month. You're gonna make a circle, and that's very important, because when you get to a fever, this is temperature, and so when you're running a fever, you're gonna go like this, and you're gonna show I have a high fever. So that's fever, going up and down. That's the thermometer gauge, right? So you're watching it go up. So that's why that's monthly. But if you don't do the circle, but just go up and down right there, that's fever. Again, context will help a lot. If you say I'm sick and I have fever, then you'll understand that. Health is similar to strong. So strong is more with your arms and you're coming out and you're making you're flexing. Health is usually just right in front. You're like that because you're regaining strength. So it's similar. It's similar as if you're healthy, you have strength. If you're sick, you're weak, right? And that's just how our bodies react. So health is like that. And so when we're praying for people to have to recover their health, we go like that to recover their health. All right, that's page 50. It's 557. We started on page 26, made it to page 50. Any questions on some of those vocabulary and the words that we went through? What's the sign for cheap? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if I would have seen that, yep, that's cheap, because they're cheap.
One thing that you didn't show, but it is in the book, is scorpion. Do you know the sign for scorpion?
I do not. And although scorpion was there, if you notice, the sign was not there.
Correct.
So if you have to, you can always spell it out, S-C-O-O or scorpion. I don't know. So why would they put the picture there and not the sign? I think the guy that made all this was like going through and doing the pictures, and then realized, wait, I don't know that sign. Just skipped it. I don't know. I can look that up, see if because this book was written many years ago. So there may be something since then come out that is more popular. I'll check a dictionary here in just a few moments. I have 2 dictionaries over here, so we'll check that. Yeah. Scorpion. Oh. Scorpion. Okay. They're stinging you. Oh. Was it dragon? No, or dragon? This one was Charity found today. Dragon is you're going to make a claw with 3 of your fingers, and you'll start at your face, and you're going to kind of curve it out. I don't know if that's the fire breathing or their tail whipping, but dragon is the dragon. So that was cool. That was a cool one. I liked learning that one. Dragon. Okay, so real quick, just because I said angel, right? That's angel, and angel. Yeah, that's angel. Whatever.
What is devil?
Angel. So devil, the horns. So just like that. So put your thumb out. You're going to touch your side of your head and go like that. That's devil. So you have angels, you have devils, you have the devil, and God is straight down face like that. So you have Jesus, God, and devil. Or that could be the devils or devil. But that's also the sign. It goes right in hand with this. The devil is, so we have good, we have bad. If you do it with an E, face, palm down, But like bad, but with an E, that's evil.
What is Satan?
Satan, same thing. You would just say Satan, or you'd say devil. The horns there. Yeah. So couple Bible terms there. Devil, angel, God, Jesus, Lord. Remember this? I think we went over this a little bit. The sash of royalty. So with a K is king, with a P is prince or princess, and yeah, prince or princess. And then L is Lord, C is Christ. I think R is royalty.
And then D is David.
Yeah, so sign name for David, King David, is with a D. That's his sign name, is King David. Right? We had Daniel with the lion's den. We have David, King David. We have Peter. He's the rock, not the foundation the church was built on, but he was built upon the church. Amen. Or built upon the rock. Paul is traveler. That's Paul. Noah is with the N, is the boat there. There are other sign names for different people. Yeah, there are. I'd have to look them up. One old one for was it Paul? Because this means prophet. If you do this with a P, that's prophet. Because with an R, that's revelation. I think.
And then wisdom.
Yeah. So if you to think, you have one finger to think. If you're mulling over something and you're thinking a lot about it, you can go like this, like study. You got a lot of you got a lot of thoughts going on up there. But to know, remember possessive, open hand. You know it. You have it. So this is to have. Same thing. You have the knowledge. Wisdom is with like an X hand, and you're gonna go like that. That's wisdom. And because you have all across the board, you have it. That's wisdom. And then my kids aren't allowed to do it, but dumb, stupid, idiot. We don't use those words, but they are there. Any questions on any of the stuff that we went over? A lot of what we went over today was still kind of review on some stuff that we skipped ahead for and whatnot, but there were some new things in there, like the fever, the sick, health, things like that. Strong, poor, weak, rich, to read, to draw, gift. So, any questions or anything that you'd like to learn? Any words that you're thinking about? Or you want to learn how to say something? I do have one of these books over here. Is a phrase book, and it teaches you how to say common phrases. But remember how, like in English, we say "My name is Jimmy," but in sign language we don't use the word "is" very much, and so it teaches you some common phrases, and it translates or interprets into sign language, and it gives you the sign to how to properly say that phrase. So if you want to take some time to look at that, that's in there as well. Again, our goal is primarily to get through some vocabulary, because the more vocabulary you have, then you can start putting it together into sentences. But also I'd like to say this. Remember, it's not so much how many signs you know, but how well you use the signs that you do know. And so that's very important. Somebody can have a vocabulary of 3,000 words, but if they don't know how to put it in proper sentence structure, then it's just going to be all out of context. But somebody who knows 1,000 words that knows how to use it properly, then it's effective. When?
Could I just do this with my watch and they would get it?
So technically, just real quick, when is like this. If you're asking a question, you're saying when, and just one finger, and you're circling it and coming back to it.
So it's basically making like a clock or a watch.
Yeah, just when, because I guess it encircles something. Yeah. So what, in the question form, who, what, when, where, how, why, what is you're just going to take your index and you're just going to come down your hand. That's what. Some people go, what? But you can also, in a question, say what, and then who. Let's do it in order, right? Who, what, when, where, how, why. Is that the right order? Who is, there's two ways to do who. You can go like this, and just with like your L hand, and you're gonna say who, or somebody they'll circle, they'll say who, just their lips, who. So who, what, who, what, when is, so that's in a question form. That's when. Now, if something's already happened, like if you're talking about when the football game was going on, you're setting the timestamp, and so that's with your H hand, or you could do it with strict ASL is just one finger, I think, but involving C signs, the H hand, that's happened. So when you're talking about, like, I got sick during the football game, you'd say when or happened football game I got sick. So, I mean, I've done football, right? But I'm learning too. But that's happened, or when something happened. And so oftentimes if you're saying like when it happened, that's when you do that. But if you're asking a question of when is class, and you're asking a future question, then that's when you say when is class, right? So who, what, when, where is you're going to shake your hand. And to help you remember this one, bathroom, because that's where is the bathroom? That's a sign for bathroom, but that's where. Who, what, when, where, how, like that. Because remember how many, but how. How did that happen? I saw somebody go like this for how one time, a deaf person. So maybe a new sign, maybe a regional sign, but how is like that. I think I've seen them do that. Who, what, when, where, how, why. And then why, you're thinking, you can't figure it out, like, why did you do that? So you're going to touch your forehead and come off with a Y, and that's why. Yeah, do the why. Yeah, why. Like, because you're like, why would you do that? You're thinking about it. You're asking a question, why? And then the because is, well, because. You touch your forehead, because. Well, because I'm not thinking. I don't know. Brain. You say, probably say it, brain. This to tap your head, that's head. That's head. Yeah. Head, shoulders, knees. Say toes, you just point down like that. Because remember, everything you sign is going to be in like this like a pitcher's box, right? A strike zone. So to sign feet, you just point to your feet. That's feet. Shoes. I don't know why this is shoes, but shoes. Your feet together.
Because signing, they're looking up, everything should be from your chest up.
Right, and so to sign feet, you point down feet, but shoes, you're putting your feet together, or you put your shoes together when you put them in the closet. Oh, there's no place like home. Yeah, whatever. I ain't doing that. I ain't no princess in a red slippers. Anyways, some more home signs there. Any other questions? Those are good, because we haven't gone over those yet. It is 6:08. So, all right, well, we'll go ahead and close with the word of prayer, and then we'll get out of here. You can stay around if you want, ask more questions, but we can get out of here. All right, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for